Please allow me to welcome everybody to the official podcast of Fuwanovel.org, the Fuwacast. We are the only podcast ever to rise above the desiccated corpses of all the other podcast ideas that have floated around. And I'd just like to congratulate all of us here for this historic occasion. I'll be your host today, Tay, and I'd like to introduce our all-star cast, who have been well compensated for joining us today. First, let's welcome our dangerous and lovable Swedish meatball, Zakamutt.
Yay!
Zakamutt, please say hello to the folks at home.
Hello, everyone. Would you like me to marry your sister? That came up wrong. Ignore me.
Moving rapidly along, the next person I'd like to introduce is the hero that Fuwanovel deserves, Solidbatman. Batman, please greet the millions of loyal fans listening and offer them some advice.
I wasn't even going to be here today. You guys just dragged me out of bed and told me to talk. So, yeah.
All right, there we go. Glad to have you, Batman. And then our
Best.
Canadian comrade, Flutterz. Dobre pожаловать. Как дела?
Hello everyone and hi, привет, Tay. Good, best girl.
Communist.
So I guess we can be done now,
I guess so. So let's start off by saying, this is a product of Fuwanovel. Let's remind everyone that this is the community where nothing goes wrong and everything's ideal. So there should be no problems with the sound quality, and if there is, it's your fault, not ours.
and the website never goes down for days at a time.
Never. And when it happens, it's done by design. Let's see. Let's make a note. Today we're recording on February 23rd. Welcome everybody. This is episode 1 entitled "This May Have Been a Huge Mistake." It's brought to us lovingly by the PS Vita, console of choice among those gamers with souls, and also the Screw You Louis Cool Super Pack.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
So let's get started today.
And all the gamers who like to play no games.
Cut the hate, man.
It's true.
Hey, that's just last reward. Nothing else needed, right? Anyway, I'll record for posterity that we are doing this in the year of 2014. Okay.
Thank you, Zaka. That's important. This is truly a historic
Yep.
occasion. I'm laughing, but I should be treating this with the solemnity that it deserves. Thank you for reminding me.
Good.
So today's topic was thrown together last week. It's our favorite visual novels from 2013. We're gonna go around and explain what our top 3 visual novels were and why. Before we do that, though, just a couple pieces of news for everybody. I just want to say thanks, and I think all 3 of us are very grateful to Clayfast, or however you pronounce his username, for all of his amazing lists. I've been getting probably 5 emails a day from people who signed up specifically because of his fantasy lists and good visual novels for beginning players. Those lists are awesome, and so just want to say thanks to him. And also to let everybody know, for those who were online last week, they probably saw a little blurb about legal action in the site. There has been some exciting goings on, and which may end up resulting in some site changes. We don't have anything to announce, but when that happens, we'll be posting it on the main site and on the forums. But we don't have anything to announce. A lot of people have been emailing me. I just thought I'd let people know that we don't have anything quite yet. Nothing's been decided quite yet. So let's start with our favorite visual novels. Zaka, kick us off. What was your number 1, or at least one of your top 3 visual novels that you played in 2013?
Okay. Yeah, I'll going to say that probably the top visual novel I played in 2013 was Rewrite. It was a bit hard deciding between this, but in the end I realized I couldn't pick Ever 17 because I read it in 2012. Bastard. So anyway, Rewrite I thought was great. It has a lot of things that appeal to me. First of all, the common root is frankly hilarious. Now, I know this isn't everyone's bucket of tea. Cup of tea, man. Man.
Do they drink tea in buckets where you come from?
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, I need to look for a replacement now. Thanks, Zaka.
Okay, good. So do I. But the common root's really funny part also goes well into the rest of the game, which in a way kind of almost deconstructs the common root, because, well, I don't want to spoil too much, but everything that happens, even if it's weird, is pretty much relevant to the common root. And I thought that was pretty cool. When we get to the character roots. Yeah. So we get to the character roots. We have, well, some of them, I gotta say, are a bit weak. But it really depends on what you like, and there are some pretty disparate genres in there. Which you could say goes against it, but in the end, it did have two roots that really did stand out for me, which were Kotori's root and Akane's root. Both of these are kind of a bit dark, depressing, gloomy roots, and I like that. Kind of a bit of a glutton for punishment. Now, it depends on how much I care about the characters, of course, which was a problem for me in Swan Song due to the characters being pretty unlikable. But in Rewrite, I did not have that problem, and it genuinely gripped me. Especially Kotori's root with themes of like kind of in general failure, hopelessness, despair and stuff. I really liked that. And then we get to, well, Moon is decent, but I don't really like it that much. I think that it's just really set up for the final route, Terra, the true route. Now Terra is just epic, completely epic. That is what I feel about it. It's really the fate of the world hangs in the balance, and it's pretty much mediated by one man, and it's done really well. There are, like, sure, I can complain about things like there aren't enough CGs. Maybe you shouldn't have completely changed to novel-style writing instead of ADV. Okay, now using technical terms, but oh well, whatever. I'll let you decipher them if you feel like it. But in the end, it's pretty good.
Hello, this is your friendly neighborhood Tay. I'm sad to inform you that we had some technical difficulties. We're going to have to try again. Hold on tight.
Okay, I'm not actually sure what at which point I was in the speech back then, but did I say anything about the true route?
You started on it, I think.
Yeah, you said that Moon was like a lead up to.
Okay, Moon was a lead up. What I wanted to say about Rewrite's True Route Terra is that it is really kind of epic in scope, I felt. You really felt like the fate of the world was hanging in the balance, and perhaps just in the hands of one guy. And sure, there are criticism you can make of it. But for one, there are like too few CGs, honestly, in that route. But mostly just really good, ties it all together. Yeah. I don't know, maybe I said that before or not. Okay. It should be fine, though.
Did we all play Rewrite in 2013?
I played. I was gonna say that was gonna be my first pick, so now I have to change it.
So I also played in 2013. It's not on my list, but Flutterz, if it's on your list, and so the two of you are in competition, you can keep it there. You just have to prove that you liked it more than Zaka.
I don't know. I guess I'll leave that spot for last and see if I can come up with something different.
Ooh, I was fighting words, bro.
I did feel though that Rewrite was more protagonist focused than other key visual novels. Like mostly mostly the focus is on the relationship between the protagonist and the heroines in one way or another. But the heroine routes were actually kind of weakish in Rewrite, especially like Shizuru's route, sadly.
Oh yeah, Shizuru. So.
But everything gets really great in basically Kataro's route, so I mean, kind of entirely focused on him at that point.
I don't know, I actually really like Kotori's and Akane's route as well.
No, they were good. They were just not as good as like some others. In general, just the overall level of the routes wasn't as high as, say, Clannad.
What do you think was bad about Shizuru, by the way? Because I felt that it has had really bad pacing. Like, suddenly slow.
Yeah, that's pretty much the main complaint about it.
Oh, the ending is kind of retarded too, or do you agree?
The ending I felt was kind of fine, but the pacing completely throws everything off.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Indeed. I think they
feels like they wrote one part, then they skipped to another part, then they mixed the two parts between themselves, and just made a mess out of everything.
It's kind of interesting because Shizuru has some stuff, but kind of feels really like Clannad in the way it moves, pacing, and so on, and it kind of doesn't fit in.
Well, all the routes are really kind of different, very much so.
True.
Very different.
Atori's was basically shonen. Lucia's route was what Lucia's route was, to not spoil anything.
Yeah.
Amane's route was really, really good though.
Well, Chihaya was probably the most shonen route, really.
Yeah. No, it was definitely the most shonen one. It was also what's his face, Sakuya's route. That's his name, right?
Oh yeah.
It was basically his route, not Atori's. So.
Very true. Well, Sakuya is awesome, so it's okay that he has a route. But
I only think they should make it so that the first route you do has to be Kotori's route, because otherwise nothing makes sense.
I think that's spot on.
I think also Kotori's route has a really good continuation from a feeling you get just at the end of a common route. At least, and most of it. It gets really continuous what you get there, and turns it into something pretty good. That mood. Well, okay, we've talked about Rewrite. Don't know if we should move to something.
I think that's a good idea. I'll go next. This is probably not my first, as in number one favorite from 2013, but I was in for a real treat. I played Planetarian for the first time in 2013,
Ooh.
and I really, really enjoyed Planetarian. I played it on the iOS version when it came to the App Store. I haven't had a chance to compare that translation, which is done by the company itself, and the fan translation, but boy, it got me right in the cockles of my heart. And interestingly enough, I had my wife play Planetarian, and she has no interest in any otaku subcultures, but she loved it. And as I played it again the second time, I think that's one of the better visual novels to start people off on. I think it does a good job introducing the mechanics, and it's a great story. The character has the moe factor, but in a more measured tone. Plus the world setting is so interesting. I loved all of Planetarian.
I think I should probably push Planetarian off my queue a bit now. Well, IO was just released, and that's really something I want to do, and I have a last episode of Higurashi left, so I don't know, man, it's pretty hard for me to decide. But
Planetarian's only like 2 hours long. I read it all in one sitting, and it's definitely worth it. So.
Yeah.
Alright.
I read it in 2012 though, so I read pretty much every single key VM that I've read in 2012. So.
Oh, you're kind of fucked.
Besides Rewrite, which I read at the beginning of 2013, which you stole.
So I'm actually in the same boat. I found visual novels early 2012 and absorbed all the classics in 2012. So it was kind of hard for me to go through and remember everything I played in 2013.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad for me because I started visual novels in late 2012, so I had quite a few that I actually finished in 2013. It was good. Well, I had to exclude Ever 17 and Gesenjo. Where's it G-Senjo? I don't actually know. How do they say it?
I think it's G is separate. G-Senjo no mo.
I started halfway through 2012. I read 25 visual novels in the last half of 2012, and then 25 more last year. So.
Yeah. Well, you have a decent selection at least.
Yeah.
Good.
Most of the better ones I've read already.
Yeah. All right, Batman, anyway, hit us up with yours.
For my first one, I'm also actually going to go Planetarian. Reason being, I read it on a whim, actually. I don't remember what made me download it and read it. I probably was just looking for something to do, and I really got into it right from the get-go. What I think I enjoyed the most about it is the fact that it was short. A problem I have with a lot of visual novels, they're so long and filled with so much fluff and everything that Planetarian sets out to tell its story, and it doesn't deviate from its story. It doesn't deviate off into cutesy little scenes, or, all of its scenes add to the story rather than just being cute. It's not there to just be cute. So everything felt like it had a purpose in it. And it went out, told its story extremely well. And I thought the ending was extremely well done. Very, very, very well done ending. Yeah. So that, I've only read 3 different visual novels by Key, and Planetarian probably is my favorite of the 3, just because of the way it tells its story and the way it handles its characters. And you were right about the world. How it's a very, very interesting world. I kind of wish maybe if, I know there's a side story or something. I don't know if that explores the world any, but
there's a couple, I think.
Yeah.
Most of them aren't translated, as far as I know.
No, I don't think any of them.
So, Batman, just to riff off what you said, I think for me personally, that is one of the reasons why I really enjoy Planetarium. I like tight narratives, like you said. When we talk on the forums or in other communities I've been a part of, and in a couple visual novel production groups that I've been in, a lot of people will argue with me when I talk about how important it is to keep a tight narrative. They'll say, no, people read visual novels because they want to live in these worlds and just have scenes engaging with characters. And my response is typically, if you look at the classic visual novels, especially things like Jisenja no Mao or other really good, easy to digest, easy to analyze visual novels, you'll find out that every scene contributes something to the narrative. There's some piece of information that plays into the larger plot or introduces characters and plot developments, interesting characterizations, and I would make the argument in a writing class or otherwise that a lot of visual novels are just kind of sloppy writing. And I like, I'm kind of a hypocrite. If Fate Stay Night had been 3 times as long, I would have been happy because I love those characters in that world. But at the same time, there comes a point when you're reading a scene and you realize this is contributing nothing.
Little Busters. Sorry about that.
Someone's bitter.
Something got caught in my throat there.
Well, this is actually kind of interesting. I was talking with Batman about this before a bit, and I think before he used to have more time, because Clannad also has kind of a long common route, and it's really not just all plotty stuff. So I think maybe once you get older, you might get less of a tolerance for this long, kind of funny common routes. That might be part of it.
I'll justify my love for Clannad a little bit later on in this, so don't worry.
Yeah.
There's big differences that I've drawn between Little Busters and Clannad that I'll get into once we get to that point. So
Yeah.
you're jumping ahead of me now, sir.
To preserve the sanctity of Batman's list, let's move on. Flutterz,
Okay.
you're up.
Yeah, before I say that, Original Ren apparently wants to be invited, so I don't know, make of that what you will. So,
Oh, he wants to join the podcast?
Yeah.
Does
Feels
he
like
have
a little
Twitter?
late, so I don't know. Well, anyways, my first visual novel will have to be Umineko. I'm guessing, like, have any of you actually read it?
No.
Sadly, no. Only Higurashi.
It was one of the first I read, and I was sick when I read it. So I have like vague memories that are kind of haunting about it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Well, the basic premise is that it's basically a deconstruction of the mystery genre.
Right.
You have this whole theme of what's magic and what isn't. What's like does a lie that can't be proven to be a lie, can that lie become a truth? Stuff like that, basically. It's sort of similar to Higurashi in a sense. Well, obviously because they were made by the same guy. But it's kind of a superficial similarity because in both cases the plot kind of starts over every now and again. I hope that's not too much of a spoiler. But they do so in completely different ways, whereas in Higurashi nothing basically changes, just various tiny portions of the story, which of course then change how the story progresses, but still. But in Umineko, every story is completely different from the next, even though they all take place in the exact same setting. And it's a much tighter setting too, like Higurashi takes place over, like several weeks. Umineko is just 2 days, it's on the clock. So yeah, it's also incredibly long. All the visual novels that I was at least planning to name are incredibly long, so I guess I'm one of the people who prefer to kind of live with the characters. Although I don't mind if visual novels have a really tight narrative either, like Planetarium. That was great. I think it's just mostly a matter of preference, really. Which one you enjoy more?
Do you think that I think the writer of Higurashi has said that he did a certain formula for that, where he had like happy stuff happen and then everything goes to hell, and they use that for a kind of contrast effect. Does he do that in Umineko as well?
A little bit, yeah, but it's after the like happy part in the first story, there isn't that much of it really. It's kind of, there's a reason, but basically every story starts off kind of a little bit grim.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I played it on NyQuil, which is telling, but I seem to remember only the beginning of the game was really happy. And then,
Yeah, it was. And the game actually, what's really interesting is that it never actually tells you, like, the answers. Like, it's a mystery, basically, but the game never actually tells you, like, what the answer to the mystery is, so you kind of need to piece it together yourself. Unlike, even in Higurashi, like, eventually, once you get to the later stories, everything gets explained to you. Not here. Like, most of the stuff is explained, or at least hinted at, but you never get, like, a concrete answer. So that's, there's apparently lots of debating going on in the Umineko community about this being, most people accept one answer, but there's this, like, apparently, like, 8-hour video of some guy saying, no, that's not the case, it's actually this, so, yeah.
Boy, that sounds like the visual novel and otaku community, doesn't it? Okay. Alright, Zaka, hit us with your number 2.
Hit me with your best shot. Oh wait, this isn't karaoke. Okay, anyway, my next novel on my list is not ever 17 because fuck, I read it in 2012. So instead,
You're really upset about that, aren't you?
Yes, I'm really upset about it. It was the first one I wrote into my talking point list and everything. Anyway, I'm picking 999. 9 persons, 9 hours, 9 doors, and I hope to have the infamous order of the persons, hours, doors, and the sheep. Oh, wait for other sheep. Okay, anyway. I played it with using an emulator on my laptop, and originally well, actually not completely on my laptop, but originally on my laptop it was a bit slow, which made the music a bit weird because it just lagged, and it was even more disconcerting than you normally have it because it was like randomly skipping forward and stuff. But eventually I moved on to my big computer and everything was fine and filters and stuff. I should talk about the actual story. It's basically a multiple route mystery. All of the mystery is about the setting, which is quite like Ever 17. One of the things about it is that it's actually quite focused, really focused compared to Ever 17, which is going to be nice for some, but on the other hand doesn't quite let you get as attached to the characters. So, a bit of a point of contention there. What am I going to say about 999? I thought it was it was quite well put together, but was hampered by some pretty bad decisions in the system, like only one save slot, you can't skip stuff you've done before with the puzzles. But in the end, the final route revelations to Mr. and all that really make up for it, and you definitely should read it, play it, whatever, eventually.
It's a fun one. It is fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's got some decent jokes as well, and it has a nice localization, I have to say. We managed to get the names and shit up pretty well.
Axis typically does. I think that was Axis who localized it. They typically do really good localizations.
I started reading the spiritual sequel to it, Zero Escape, on the Vita, but I just didn't have the time to finish it properly. But it was fun.
Vita, official sponsor of the show.
PS Vita, it is the
If anyone at
best.
Sony wants to give us money, we're right here.
Lots of money.
Yeah, Flutterz can use that.
So
Flutterz can use the money for a 3DS.
Yeah.
True.
Hey Sony, if you buy me a 3DS, I'll add you as a friend.
Oh man. I don't know, but did any of you read 999? Oh yeah.
I did. I loved it. I played it on the DS and I really enjoyed it. It's a great game. I enjoyed the puzzles. It was great.
Yeah, I think the puzzles actually integrated with the story quite well. I think, they're not quite the Phoenix Wright stuff, but it's kind of in the same adventure game umbrella, you can think. I think that works really well with visual novels, and I'd actually like to see more novels use those kinds of elements.
Yeah.
It's also a really good attraction for people who are kind of on the fence about things with no gameplay, which is nice.
My second choice is going to be, it's a game that I don't really like. I gave it a 7 out of 10, but one of the routes stood out to me as being really exceptional. I really enjoyed Chie's route in Kira Kira. Have any of you played Kira Kira?
Yeah, I played it not too long ago.
As well.
You know, it's not the best visual novel that was ever written, but I loved Chie's route, partially because my life experience is pretty similar to hers, with divorced parents and things. I really resonated with her character, and I felt like her route was very well written, and did a really good job at believably characterizing her. I liked Serena's route. I liked Kira's route. Or Kirari. They're both very good, but Chie's route stood out to me as the best written of the three.
I actually didn't like Kirari's route that much, especially the first one.
Well, there might be reasons for that.
Well, I mean, not just because of how it is, but how it's done. It's just,
well, that's fair.
Yeah, and at first when I just started reading, I thought I wouldn't like Chie's route, just just a thought. But her route did turn out to be the best, honestly.
Oh, I'm glad you agree.
Yep.
She is right. Was pretty really down to earth, and I guess I can agree with the believability a bit. It felt more real, but in a way less dramatic than the other routes.
Yeah.
It didn't really play the Nakiga formula as much as Kirari's or Kashiwara's, what else she's called, routes.
Kashiwara.
Sarina. Yeah. That said, I think the usual opinion in the community, as far as I know, is that Kirari's normal end is best.
Yeah.
It really does what it does with pulling no punches. I do actually think that it was best as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's partly because I am easily influenced by other people. Yeah, but I can agree with Chie's route being good as well. Now, one thing I think about Kira is that I've heard quite a few people grumble about its translation being not that good. Did you notice that when you read?
I think I did notice it wasn't bad, but there were like quite a few typos, which I constantly noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, there were problems. I tend to keep a log of problems when I go through a licensed visual novel, so I can send them in, so that if the company ever wanted to patch it, they could. But I remember there being a lot, but I didn't. Some games have so much as distracting. It never really distracted me too much. I was able to overlook it pretty quickly.
I just sometimes notice one, laugh about it, and then just keep going.
Yeah. Believe it or not.
The worst thing was that in the script it always says Kirari's hair is black.
Yeah, there's that.
Which it is.
Actually,
and in one CG where her hair is supposed to be pink, her hair was her normal color after she started the tour.
Oh, I didn't. That's funny. I didn't notice that one.
It was like on their very first gig, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's not the number one masterpiece ever written, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. So.
I should buy it.
Hit us with your second choice.
I should buy Kira Kira and Deerdrops and all that, those shenanigans.
Actually, Kira Kira. I need to read the fan disc.
My second one, right. Yes. Hang on one second. I had a list and I threw it away here.
Fiddle Busters.
Yeah, right. Maybe... No, it's not going to be Fiddle Busters. I can't do that. Actually, I get to talk about Ever 17, the Out of Affinity, because I did finish it in 2013.
Bastard!
No, I really didn't start reading. I know I joined Fuwanovel back in 2012, but I started reading Ever 17 in 2012, but I didn't finish it till about March of 2013, so it counts. Again, this kind of goes back to a tight narrative where every scene adds to the story, but what I liked most about it was there was romance in it, but the romance wasn't the focus. It was a driving force, but it wasn't two characters doting on each other and having all these relationship issues the entire time. The plot was focused on the actual plot, not the romance. It was a plot-centric novel, not a character-centric novel. And
unless it's a plot too, bro.
What?
You could argue that romance is a plot too, you know.
No, it's fine to have that. Like, I don't mind that sort of story going on. But with Ever 17, I felt like, it could have easily been overshadowed by its romance. It could have easily been done in because the writers wanted to force this romance. A few anime I've watched have had that sort of situation go down. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but where they have an interesting concept, but then they overshadow it completely with romance. And just in general, Ever 17, the feeling of mystery, you almost feel like you're in the facility with them. It's just a very well-written environment as well. It's one of those novels that doesn't feel like it does anything spectacular, but it doesn't do anything wrong. There was one little bit that confused me, that something that never got answered. It's kind of a spoiler, but anytime you can pull off the type of story it pulls off and only have me thinking about one little thing that doesn't take away anything from the story, you've done something good.
Yeah.
So, and that should provide the segue for Zaka to talk about it now.
Yay! Well, I think it's interesting that you say that
Okay, time to move on to Flutterz second.
F you! No, seriously, let me talk a bit. I want to discuss
He don't care.
Yeah. You're talking about how every scene had a purpose and all that, and I've actually seen quite a lot of whining about every scene having a bit too much of a slice of life moment, especially compared to something like 999. What do you think about that?
In Ever 17?
Yeah. Chicken sandwiches, you know.
It's, you see, I feel like that actually adds to it because they're trapped underwater. What are you going to do? What are you going to write about unless you're going to have like a 20-minute novel? You know, because of the setup and the story, you need all that. You need that to show the passage of time. You need to show, you know, how these characters are trying to stay from going insane, how they're just trying to live a normal life until a rescue comes. I felt that's what I mean by it had a purpose. That fluff had a purpose. It's doing two things. One, it's giving us more insight into the backgrounds of our characters here, but it's also showing us, like I said, the passage of time and just generally how these characters act in this situation. How, you know, what breaks them, how some of them rise to the occasion and lead everyone onward, that sort of thing. So, I mean, I see where people are, you know, complaining about it, but at the same time, I feel like it is unfounded complaints.
Oh yeah, I actually pretty much completely agree with you when it comes to that. I don't know if there's much more I can say about it. Oh,
Is it my turn yet?
It's your turn. Take it. Don't wait. Just take it. Go.
Okay, Mavlov.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Can we go back to Ever 17?
Okay, guys, let's go back to Ever 17. That's okay. No.
So yeah, it starts off with the most generic kind of slice of life novel, which is the extra one, I think. I get confused with the names.
Oh, are you doing the whole Love
series? Yeah.
Okay.
I read the whole thing.
Well, okay, that changes things. I thought you were talking about Love.
Well, I mean, alternative in particular, but
okay.
The series as a whole. So a lot of people really dislike it for being such a generic slice of life thing. I can see where they're coming from, but I didn't really mind that much. I guess I'm just not at all picky. So the second one, which was Unlimited, I think, which actually starts to bring in all the mech, all the story, was pretty damn good, especially in comparison to Extra. The story actually gets interesting, stuff actually starts to happen, all the weird aliens show up, etc., etc. And then once you actually read Alternative, which if you, like, I imagine how pissed off people who read it when it was released felt. Like, they had to wait like 2 or 3 years, I think, for Alternative.
Yeah.
So once Alternative comes, it just blows the other two out of the water completely. The story goes up to 11, the aliens go up to 11, everything goes up to 11 basically. And it's just one of the best designed visual novels I've seen, because reading the whole thing feels like almost like watching an anime, because all of the sprites are pretty much moving all the time. You rarely have like 1 or 2 sprites on the screen. There's often 5, 7, sometimes even 10, like just overlapping. You have sprites for every single minor character, voice actors for all of them. It's just really well done. That might actually be its strongest point, but it's just so well done that, well, the story's great too, but if not for the presentation, I don't think it would be as great as it is.
I gotta mute for just a second, sorry.
So, for those listening at home, when Flutterz says everything turned up to 11, he's of course rating that out of a 100-point scale. He's a pretty harsh critic. He gave the game a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, and it's one of the best games I've read in 2013 out of 25. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really harsh.
Yeah. So I have not played Alternative yet. I'm very excited to. After the second one, Unlimited, right?
Yeah.
I was worried. Everyone says Alternate is amazing, but I was worried they weren't going to be able to pull it off. Everyone
No,
tells
they
me
did.
I'm wrong, but I decided to hold off and wait and brace myself just in case, because at that point I had pretty strong connections to the world and the characters.
Yeah, that might be a bit of.
Well, yeah, well, right, yeah. You understand my hesitation then.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, it's gone quiet. Maybe I should use my...
Yeah, I guess it's your turn.
Yeah, it's
Yes!
Zach's
Not ever
So
17.
successfully rolled initiative. Natural 20. Everyone owns. Anyway.
turn. You're a little quiet, Zaka.
Still quiet?
A little bit.
I don't know if I can actually get much less quiet. Is it getting better? Getting worse? Your mom?
It's fine.
It's okay now.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. I'm going to talk about something a bit more obscure. I'm going to talk about Actual Sunlight. It's a Western visual novel made in RPG Maker. And I actually originally got started on this because I was on the TV Tropes forums, the VN section, and the creator posted a beta demo version of this. Pretty much had a full game, but it's been improved now with like CGs and stuff and bug fixes for writing. And I actually recently bought it because these days it's actually paid. The thing about this is it's about a guy in Canada, in Toronto. It's like it is not your typical visual novel narrative. He is depressed as fuck, and you get to see really his world, how he perceives the world, and it really struck with me because I have been depressed too, and I can just totally recognize how he sees the world, and it's so accurate. The thing is, the author, when he was writing this, he was pretty much writing what he was experiencing. He wasn't pretending anything. He was just doing that. Now, the writing is really, really fucking good. To like pretty much Grisaya level or above. He really writes well. Which is something you don't necessarily see in most visual novel translations, because, well, the translators are not necessarily professional writers. Which this guy has become. In the end, it's a pretty depressing experience. You probably will feel down after it, and you might not necessarily like the protagonist, so it's not for everyone. But it's incredibly strong, and for me personally, it definitely decides a favorite. It's not on VNDB, so I didn't actually have it rated, but I would honestly rate it a 9 out of 10. That's me. So anyway, check out Actual Sunlight. It's like $5 Canadian or something. If you really want to, I can send you a copy as well.
That's one I've been wanting to. I remember you wrote about it a while ago, and I kept telling myself I need to buy it, and I never did.
Yeah. I don't know if you like it, but it is good. It is good.
Well, I just added it to my list of VNs I should read, so once I get through the other 75. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Only 3 years away.
Yeah.
So
I should add that my other candidate for this was True Remembrance, but that was boring. Better have some random indie shit. Okay.
there you go. So
Okay.
My last choice. I'm also going to give a shout out to the OELVN community. There's a game that I found on Lemasoft called Love Sniper. Have any of you played it?
Nope.
No.
Seen a review of me and Snow, but I haven't played it.
It's really short and it's very fun and addicting. It's the game. Every route lasts just minutes, and you just kind of grind your way through different endings and find it's hilarious. It's very well done. I don't want to ruin anything or give any spoilers because the game is pretty short, and so any spoiler is going to it's gonna count. But check it out, Lemmasoft. Just Google Lemmasoft, Lemmasoft, and then Love Sniper, and that will get you there. My runner-up would have been the I don't even know. I guess it's the common route on the Sharan no Kuni fan disc, when you kind of explore the backstories of the antagonists from the first game, and I really enjoyed that. I didn't care for the other routes on Blood.
Well, they were just fan service, basically.
Yes.
Plus, they were machine translated, I think.
Well, but the common was really good. I did enjoy that.
Okay. Alright, Batman. Spot, you on it.
I'm just thinking about English VNs and stuff, and I mean, there really are some like hidden gems within, in that community. Some really good stuff hidden way in there. I haven't read very many. I've started a few here and there, but there really are some good ones hidden away in Lemmasoft and those areas.
Right.
Yeah, I already talked a little bit about it. Clannad, I finished early 2013, like February early. And Zaka is right. When I did read that one, I was still a part-time worker, only working like 16, 24 hours a week at the most. And I had taken like a week off of work. I was doing some house sitting, I believe. And I had it with me, and when I first started it, I quickly got a bad end when I first originally started it, because how Key is with their dialogue choices and all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve was actually the one who told me to keep reading it, because I was going to quit right then and there, because it's kind of a philosophy. It's kind of a way I stick to being, because I have so many games and so many things I want to do. If I'm not enjoying something right then and there, I'm going to quit it, even though it might get better down the road. I'm going to quit it right then and there and find something I can enjoy right then and there. So I was very, very close to just not even bothering with Clannad. And if I had probably quit Clannad, I probably wouldn't have read very many VNs after that anyway. But Steve was the one who actually told me to, try it again. And he was the one who just said, use a walkthrough, don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. And, so I ended up doing that, and I ended up freaking loving it. Like, I would read 9-10 hours a day, 5 days a week, going through it, and ended up finishing it, within 2 weeks or so. But this is something I've noticed a theme going through all the anime, because I was going through all the anime I like too, because I thought we were going to talk about that. But and I noticed I tend to like stories also that have a strong sense of family in them, and that's something that Clannad really does have, especially once you start hitting Nagisa's route and After Story. There's a very strong sense of family, and even if you're not in those routes, you feel like it does a good job, especially with Tomoya's character and his relationship with everyone else. Characters will disappear as you go down other routes, but you'll still see some of the same side characters actively contributing to the story. They don't just vanish on you. And then, like I said, the strong sense of family as you go in later to the story. I don't know why I love those type of stories so much, but they created a family that, it was just fun to read about. You were with them on their ups and downs through life. And it was extremely enjoyable. And, so yeah, Clannad, Clooney,
Clannad, I'd say.
Clannad, yeah, whatever you want to call it. Tomoya and Tsunohara's Excellent Adventure, whatever you want to call it. It was one of my, I think it was like the third one I ever read, and it was still, still very, very, I look back on it very, very fondly, and, it makes me wonder what the hell happened to Key. So,
You're just bitter.
If you want me to, I could get into why I like it more than Little Busters, but I don't think I want to.
I don't know. I think it would be a bit interesting. You have to compare it, because Little Busters also does focus on building a group of friends and stuff. I don't know if you can call it family. People usually say friendship. Personally, I feel the VN is most deeply about self-reliance and the the character strength, but those are also themes.
Well,
anyway,
I was just gonna say, it's just one of those things that everyone seems to love Little Busters. Everyone seems to love every one of Key's visual novels anyway. So I don't know, but that's something for another time. Getting into that.
I don't actually love Little Busters really. I did give it like 9. I'm not sure if that's if I shouldn't have rated it a bit lower, but. I do think that it's really mostly backlogged in reframe, and also I really liked Mio because waifu. But anyway,
don't get started with Mio. Good God.
Oh God, my love of Mio, Batman Agent of Mio, is so special.
It would be kind of fun to do a Key spoiler cast and compare some of them. That may be something we could do.
Yeah.
That would imply that.
Has anyone read all
another
of them?
Key no? Yeah, I was about to say that doing one of those would imply I'd ever read another one again after Little Busters. God.
I mean, the only ones I haven't read are Moon, one of their really old ones, and
Moon was theirs?
Yeah.
I think that was by Tactics.
Yeah, I didn't.
It was the guys from guys who made Moon later on made Key, basically.
So what about 1? Would that count too? 1?
I think 1. Yeah. Oh, okay. If you think so, but it would be really hard. I don't know.
I've read. We pick 2 and we compare the 2.
Oh, that's an interesting here. Yeah, could work out. Yeah.
And I also haven't read any of the like fan disc ones, kind of like Tomoya After.
Yeah, I haven't.
And Harvest Festa.
Meanwhile, I dropped Tomoya After because I really didn't like it.
I don't think you're alone in that.
I'll read it at some point, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe when we finish Memorial Edition. Apparently there are various technical reasons about the ending that makes me really not like the idea of Tomoya After. So if you ever get a Memorial Edition out, maybe I'll consider it. Not now though. Well.
So we're kind of wrapping down. We're kind of wrapping down here. So now.
Well, Flutterz has one more.
Say what?
Flutterz has one more.
Forget about me already.
Oh dear.
Flutterz.
Go.
Okay, so I was thinking whether I should just stick to rewrite or pick something else. I decided I'll pick something else just for it to be a little bit more interesting. And then I had the choice of either Air or Grisaya. And I decided I'll say Air. Because it was another Key visual novel. What I noticed is that all of Key's novels have a very strong, like, overarching theme. So the one in Clannad, for example, would be family. The one in Little Busters would be friends. And in Air, it's mothers, basically. So it's the first part of the story takes part in the sort of modern Japan, where a traveling puppeteer meets some high school girl, which I'm not sure about their age difference. And considering it has age scenes, that may be kind of iffy, but I don't know. Their ages are never explicitly stated, so it should all be fine.
20-year-old high schooler.
Yeah. And it's sort of the normal Key kind of story. So at first everything's great, then everything goes bad, then everything is kind of good again, mostly.
Yeah.
But then the story takes place 1,000 years before that, which is where it gets kind of interesting. Well, I mean, not the rest of the story wasn't interesting. So, and it seems like a completely unrelated story because obviously none of the characters are the same. But there are quite a few parallels between the two. And then you get to read the main story from, let's call it a different perspective, basically. After you already know what happened 1,000 years ago. And while the story is mostly the same, there's a couple of changes, and obviously the main change is how you perceive the story because of what you now know. So overall, it was really It was a key visual novel. It was good.
Ah, I don't know. I'm still waiting for a sheet as patch. I'm not really sure about the other patch that's out right now, so I think I'll wait for one that has extract and shit on it.
Yeah, there were a few problems. A couple of parts were obviously just machine translated. Like,
Really? Not bad.
not like a lot of it, but either machine translated or just translated by someone who doesn't know English. That's also
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was this whole controversy about them being machine translated, and they were like, no, so maybe it was just someone who can't speak English at all.
Yeah.
Air is one of those I'm actually interested in. I'm now more interested in it because of that little plot summary, because that sounds like something I'd have a lot of fun going through. So
Success!
pat yourself on the back. Maybe I will. Maybe my key career isn't over just yet.
Don't forget, you still owe us a rewrite.
You bastard! You switched to Little Busters when you hated it.
Yeah.
Told you to do a rewrite. I freaking told you.
Told you to do it right.
I hate my life.
Indeed. As you should. You bastard. Okay.
But with Air, the artwork is how dated is it? Like, is it?
It's slightly less dated than canon, basically.
Okay, well, so it's bearable then.
Yeah.
I don't know. Canon is hilariously dated.
But you should read one, honestly.
Or Snow Sakura. That one hurt.
No, that wasn't that bad. I mean, the art it had a weird style, but it did feel dated.
You didn't think I got the style thing, but it didn't feel dated to you?
Well, maybe just a little, but nowhere near as maybe canon.
I'm looking at some of the art now.
Oh man.
In Air?
Get no spoilers.
No, in Snow Sakura.
Oh. I don't know.
Case in point.
Their foreheads are so big.
No, yeah, I know, but I don't think
you
that's.
See the way
that's
their
the-
necks attach to their shoulders.
I'm looking at this one guy, and it's like he doesn't have eyes. They're just like it's not quite like the Brock level in Pokemon, but it's still.
Okay.
I can buy this?
Take a look at this one, just for reference.
Am I looking at the wrong visual novel then? Oh, one. Yeah, I've seen its artwork with them little skinny hands going on and everything.
It's obviously key artwork, but it's just really dated.
Well. So, we're getting about ready to wrap this up, you think, now?
Okay. Flutterz, you have my eternal apology for that. Again, everyone, another quality Fuwanovel production screwed up by Tate.
Yep.
So now that we've successfully completed this first podcast that no one ever believed would ever happen, do any of you have words that you'd like to share before we close up? Anything that you want to say on this inaugural Fuwacast?
Well, I was thinking about posting that screenshot of you saying this is going to happen. I was going to post it yesterday because it seemed like this wasn't actually going to happen. But now I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I would have looked like an ass. I was going to post it later today if it didn't actually happen. So
Yeah. Any other thoughts or comments? For
I hope
this
I hope a Hula Bundle project is still going well. And may the glorious light of Aero, whatever the
shine
revolution.
upon us all.
I can't even remember it anymore.
Like the Fuwanovel revolution.
That's it.
Indeed.
Indeed.
My turn for final words now.
Please.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna say this. All you idiots who like Little Busters, all of you, I want letters written to me explaining what is so great about Little Boosters. And I don't want just the word CAD written on it.
Mio.
I don't want pancakes written. I want legitimate reasons why you like Little Busters, because I am failing to understand it. And no, I'm not mad. I'm not mad, everyone. I'm not mad. I think you're all wrong, and I just want you all to know that.
I will note for posterity that Batman has not yet read Rin2 or Refrain. Well, he's probably not gonna like Rin2, but anyway. Okay.
There, I got my hatred out. So
It's good. It's good.
Fuwacast, a podcast and group therapy. Very good, everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, I've already given my 2 cents. I just want to point out that of the mounds of desiccated podcast idea corpses, this one has done it. So Zerhai, the ball is in your court if you want to make your podcast and everyone else. But
That was Jurai.
oh,
Zurai. Oh, this guy on the forums that went inactive and stuff. Yeah. That's
no,
right.
he's still active.
oh,
He's,
Zerhai's still active. He is one of the nicest people I've ever met. What a guy.
he's got the best emoticons too.
He does pretty good.
I'd just like to point out that this is the first podcast that I've thought of participating on, and it actually worked out, so it's all thanks to me.
Yep.
That's
Really.
probably true.
Well, except that it's because of me, but and Tay. But anyway.
Yeah, you guys don't matter.
Yeah, and Flutterz, you're so integral to this whole process. I
Yep.
absolutely didn't forget to have you do your third choice.
You totally didn't.
So.
Eventually.
Good.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope you guys will come on the next round. I assume that we're just going to need to have the same approach in the future. Pick a weekend and just make it happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Well,
Just force it.
the discussion continues on Fuwanovel.org. If anyone else on the forums wants to post their top 3 visual novels of 2013, that would be awesome. And any suggestions about next time's topic would be appreciated. We were floating around ideas like if you could make any change to a plot of a visual novel, what change and what novel would it be, or who is your favorite, who's the best girl, etc., etc.
Well,
Any
that
ideas?
doesn't even need discussion.
Any ideas would be appreciated. If worse comes to worse, we can just do a Why Katala Sojo is the best visual novel ever created cast, and I'll have lots to say on that.
Oh, good.
Well, English visual novel, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
I wouldn't even say that.
Okay. So, thanks everyone for joining. We'll catch you next time.
See us.
Yeah, see ya, everyone.